basically Freud says if it acted like a duck, walked like a duck, quacked like a duck, and was a duck. And what the Jews did was Hebraicize them in their stories. And, you know, that's not just his theory. That was German scholarship of the 1870s. There's some validity to that he says it's part of the Akhenaten affair. Akhenaten was the Egyptian pharaoh. He's always on TV, these guys. He had several exhibits at the museum. Who moved the capital. He was King Tut's father. He moved the capital to a different place and started worshiping one god, the sun god, and the Egyptians didn't like that and tore him down and went back to the ram worship that they used to have. Ramesses, for instance, is the next pharaoh down the line. That's ram worship and so on. I don't know about all that, but the point is Moses is another character people argue over how historically is, whether it was a real conquest, whether it was a phased conquest, whether it was infiltration, whether everyone left Palestine to go into Egypt or not. The archaeologists all argue about that. If you watch the History Channel or A&E or the Discovery Channel or the National Geographic Channel, you'll find they're all arguing about that, right? Whether it was a conquest or not. So, you know, but I think at some point we can say there was a Joshua. Someone conquered something, maybe not the whole thing, but something. Even the book of Joshua, there's different lines about that. I'm going to finish my quarter up, don't worry. But the point is that Joshua lives around the period 1300, 1200 BC. So we start getting historical somewhere in there. I mean, a lot happened before that, no doubt, but I mean, real definite. But the real history gets to David's time. David we can verify as a historical leader, that's around 1050 BC. And he's the great king who moves the kingdom, even in the Bible, from Hebron to Jerusalem when he conquers it from the Jebusites. And he starts building the temple. But now we're getting really, it's the high point of the Judean monarchy. And of course, the New Testament's very interested in the Judean monarchy, isn't it? Because it sees Jesus as a successor to it. So Jesus is a son of David. That means he's a Judean royal king line. I'm not sure how they get it from the genealogies that they present there, but the point being, that's how they see it. That the Messiah has to be a son of David. That's a Jewish, Judean, Messianic leader. It's not a northern. Anyway, after David, his sons argue with each other. It's in the books of Kings and Samuel. And finally, Solomon emerges as the successful son. If you've read the Old Testament, this is what who's Solomon's mother? Bathsheba. Someone David did some hook and crook concerning, right? He saw her bathing on the rooftop naked, and she was an officer's wife, and he sent the officer up to the front lines and got him killed and then grabbed his wife, right? And not a very good story about Solomon's origins, probably told by Solomon's enemies. But it may have been that way. David, even the Dead Sea Scrolls say, well, about the David and this kind of behavior, we leave that to God to determine his guilt or innocence and those kinds of. Two documents in the Dead Sea Scrolls say that. Let God determine that. We're not going to condemn him. We're not condemning him. But that's the beauty of the Bible. Its heroes are not total perfect people. They have clay feet a lot. Anyway, Solomon comes and he's got a lot of clay feet, but he finishes the temple. So that's really important. So that would be about 950. So here we are with Solomon and with the first temple. And we're very interested in the temple because Jesus goes into the temple and overturns the money changers. That is the second temple Jesus goes into, not the first temple. Solomon dies, and he is not, and his heirs are not strong enough to hold the kingdom together. So the kingdom splits up into north and south. And the north is Israel, and the south is Judea, and the south is centered around Jerusalem, and that's where the word Jews come, and it's all the promises of the south that we're going to deal with in the New Testament. I'll let you go because I've overstayed my limit. I apologize for all the baloney at the beginning, and you did forgive me. I will get more serious now. So you can read Josephus or not, up to you. I'm going to cover this myself, and if you can't read it all, I understand.